So yeah, stay tuned.
I feel like the word of Jim must be spread far and wide. Jim Rising, I mean, not the whatchamacallit, not the Chinese player. Yeah. I mean, okay, Protoss Jim, yeah, you can also spread him far and wide. He was, for a period of time, one of the best foreign players, certainly the best foreign Protoss player, but yeah, it's been a little MIA, hasn't he?
Yeah, there was a time where he was undoubtedly the best in China. This was before time. this
was before time. It was a land before time.
This was before time even existed. Jim was the dominant force in the universe.
Before time.
Oh god. This is we need to cast more Chinese events, man. We're all about time.
We are. But that's gonna be a bit of a nightmare to organize. Yeah, they do kind of have their own sort of laws there.
Yeah. As we're still waiting, Pezz and Azure are still in game, so just sit tight. Also, shout out to Vortex in the chat. We were just talking about Jim. Of course, he shows up when we're talking about Jim. Shout out to Vortex. Vortex is a Latin American tournament admin. He usually admins tournaments for Live Speeder as well as many other weeklies. So give him some love. He is one who works behind the scenes. So yeah, he's great. It's great.
Tis. I can vouch for him. I just met him. I'll vouch for him.
Exactly. And just messaging them to see what is going on. What is the verdict? Oh, they are mid-series.
Oh.
All right. They are loading into game number 2. I am quickly asking for an invite. Here we go. Currently, Pezz is up 1-0.
There you have it. So yeah, we're gonna be looking to see potentially this might be the last game of this semifinals. The winner will be going on to face Demi in those finals. And before we get on going, I will answer Claire's question right here. Feel free to redeem another group, please, as we're doing something a little bit special today, as it is the 16th ESL Open Cup Fueled by Dare. So Kuro has whatchamacallit said that Kuro's saying that you can't actually redeem it, but we'll take it later. Wait, so you can't redeem it, but you know what? It'll be explained later on. Light will explain. But for now, we are going to be on Pillars of Gold, LE, which hold up the Golden Wall, protecting the Eternal Empire, where the LE submarines are kept, of which we all reside. In the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, already up 1-0 in this best of 3 semifinals, we have the king of alliteration himself, the player who is representing M for Melbourne and M for Mind Freak. He is the Purple Protoss player, Pezz.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have the Australian Terran player representing Legacy Esports. It is Azure.
Hi. Alright, Pillars of Gold. Bit of an interesting map. Don't actually see that many TvPs on this map, but I feel like it's starting to get a little more popular. I remember at the start of the season, just about every Terran player would veto it for obvious reasons. But we're seeing it a little bit more and more in these recent weeks, haven't we, Light?
Yeah, this has become one of the more standard or the more popular maps in the map pool, as opposed to other maps like Submarine or Golden Wall, and even Eternal. Honestly, we've been seeing a little bit less of Eternal Empire, like especially when it comes to players who don't want a macro game against a certain other player, then that becomes vetoed instead. So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting trend of events that we've seen with the maps.
Is just an evolution. I've actually never noticed like the how does Zealot runs with the Centurion skin, and also I guess we should mention it is Zealot first, and not from Pezz.
It looks
apply
like
a little bit of pressure.
It looks like the Zealot has been like ignoring leg day. Like his upper body is like huge.
To me, I'm thinking it's like a football player or an American football player, right? They have so much padding on their top, but then in the bottoms they're just like running along. And actually, it kind of looks like it trying to go in for a tackle, doesn't it? Like you're holding the ball in one hand.
He's the quarterback. He's trying to go for that try line, and that try line being that SCV, but the SCV does get away for the time being with the adept here.
And the quarterback does go down. The tackle fails. The why don't I know anything about football? The adept goes down as well, and it looks like that's gonna be a foul ball. Does foul ball use? I think that might just be baseball.
I don't. Look at that 3-pointer. The SCV went down, got dunked on.
Making them big time plays, like
look at them
coming down.
Them big time plays. Meanwhile, Azure is coming down right field. We have 5 Marines heading across the map, kind of chipped away, bruised. But Azure, he does feel like he has an opportunity as the Zealot and the Adept did go down. There's only a single Stalker here defensively for Pezz, but you can never underestimate the power of a Stalker and the kiting potential.
Yeah, no, you cannot. They have a lot of range on them, especially over Marines, but sending a couple of Hellions, I like this quite a bit. Either Azure, he can either use the Hellions to distract the Stalkers, or better yet, use the Marines to distract the Stalkers and go into the middle line with these Hellions, as he is, and he's actually maximizing his worker potential. He is getting a lot of probes here. Actually hurting, using the Hellions to herd these probes into the Marines. That was absolutely beautiful.
And Hellions just keep rallying across. Like another Hellion has joined the fray. 9 workers have gone down, and this single Hellion is still alive, just chipping away, dealing even more damage to this worker line. Another probe goes down.
That's 10 probes.
That is 10 probes, one shy from that iconic lucky number 11. And yeah, Azure with some solid damage with those, utilizing those 5 Marines and those reinforcing Hellions to just take out all those probes.
But a Warp Prism is starting to move across the map, and I was going to say, Azure, pretty soon he's going to have a lot of production potential, but what about right now, where Pezz is really looking to put a hurt in on his blue Terran opponent?
Yeah, I mean, there is a bunker at the natural, but with a Warp Prism, you can just completely bypass that bunker, just going straight into the main base, being able to elevator everything up onto the high ground.
Charge is finished up. There is very little. Charge has finished up. Azure gonna have to use gonna have to utilize the SimCity as much as he possibly can. Really good kiting at the moment, but he is losing even more SCVs as time just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah, and the Marauders get sniped as well. Only Marines remaining, and sure, everything gets cleaned up, but 19 SCVs went down. All the lost mining time as well, and it hasn't ended. Like, more Zealots are being morphed in.
And just like that, Azure has lost his lead, and he might lose everything. There's nothing in the bunker anymore. Again, Azure had to pull the Marines out of the bunker in order to deal with this drop. And again, this kind of goes back down to the fact that Pezz just found the absolute perfect timing to move in onto Azure's production. Made sure that Azure, catching him when he really had nothing, when he was in his transition.
Exactly, and with that, Azure is forced to evacuate the natural. He lifts everything up. Luckily, he has that engineering bay, and it's actually being left alone. So that upgrade may finish and come into play if he's lucky enough. If Pezz allows that upgrade to finish, and
so careful, Azure.
He has to be so careful. He has a couple of Widow Mines.
And these are going to be a bit of saving grace here. I like the micro, burrowing and unburrowing. Unfortunately, this early on in the game, it's a little bit trickier. You always run the risk of having your mine sniped off every time you unburrow.
Yeah, at the same time, I love the micro from Pezz. We saw him, even though he does not blink, he was using the War Prism to try and trigger one of those mines with that Stalker, but oh, the mines are a bit exposed.
They are, but they were just made for these other 2 mines, but now the mine shots have been hit. But yeah, actually Azure, with a pretty decent Bioforce, he is going to have to kite though, and he's starting to run out of line. Brilliant force field coming out from Pezz. This Bioforce is going to evaporate pretty soon, forces a pickup on the rest of them.
And with that, he has to pick up. There's still 2 Widow Mines there. They're going to target. Oh, the Widow Mines.
Apparently not. Okay, I was going to say 2 Widow Mines should be enough to take out a War Prism. Not quite yet, but it's so badly bruised. 1 hit with the Bio and it's going to be taken out. But it looks like the Chargelets, they will not die.
The quarterbacks, they're running in. They're stopping the Marines from getting anywhere near that War Prism. And it looks like with the reinforcements, Pezz, he takes out all the Widow Mines. And he's going for the War Prism.
And he almost got it as well. But yeah, Pezz playing a really good positional battle right now, making sure that he can cover as much ground as he can with as little as possible.
That he is, but now we're in a situation where Azure is stuck outside his base.
Let's just lock in the door.
Oh god.
Like episode of SpongeBob, and now the boys have been pulled once again. Azure, lol. And Pezz gonna take that series 2-0, finding the absolute perfect timing to catch Azure during his transition, and in the end, the quarterbacks, they run it on home. Actually, I think there can only be 1 quarterback, but you know what? Everyone's a quarterback on my football team.
And with that, I'm still waiting for it. Where are the Koreans coming out with their iconic?
See, the problem is we were talking about football. I was thinking of either Americans or English, or I guess Scottish. They play football in Scotland, right?
Yeah. I imagine so. But GG, well played. We have our finalists.
Indeed, we do.